Hi, I'm Dean Sage.
And I'm Jack Kervin.
And this is Show Me Your Deck,
a podcast where we explore the intersections of oracles and chakras,
using our original decks to create new insights. We're on a marathon, episode 13.
Yes, let's do it. While everything's still working.
While everything is still working. We made it through episode 12, which is amazing. So you've hopefully heard that and enjoyed that. But we are back. We are working. We are hoping that this doesn't happen in 2 weeks when we try to record again. Yes, we're happy for technology, and thank you, Google, for working well. Let's just jump right into it. Let's figure out what we're going to do for context for today's reading.
Okay, let me roll the die. The four-sided tetrahedron.
Tetrahedron.
Let's go. Oh! Deck number 4. We're going with the haiku.
Okay.
And we're going to start with card number 27. Wait, didn't we just do 27?
I feel like we just did 27.
We just did 27.
We did. We literally just did 27. For us,
we just did 27.
For us, we did 27 about 15 minutes ago. For you, it's been a week.
Okay, well, here we go. This is so fun. I guess they're not done with us yet.
No, I guess not.
Okay, so to start out the whole reading, to set the tone, we have wood, green, heart, and how it is affected by metal, orange, down in the sacral chakra. So how I love is influenced by I feel. And the haiku is: spike impaled heartwood, grapple, subsume trauma's nails, wounds, scars, bark, time, poise.
So I'm going to try not to go straight to poise this time, because this is fresh. You know, we need to treat this with fresh eyes.
Yes.
So I think the most visceral part of this is the impaled.
Yes, the impaled heartwood.
The impaled heartwood. Is heartwood a type of wood, or were you using that metaphorically?
No, heartwood is the very center of a tree, the most living, juicy part of a tree. The further out you get from the center, the older the wood is, the more likely it is to not necessarily be metabolically active tissue, but right there at the center, that's where all the growth comes from. So the heartwood is any type of tree, but the very, very, very center, where all the what is it called, the phloem, all that is still fresh.
So we have a spike impaling the very heart of a tree. That's a very visceral metaphor, very visceral image to start with. And actually, I didn't know about the heartwood. That's new information to me. I love that. So there's immediately, I feel stunned and stopped. And what's interesting is, of course, that this is emotions, which usually you don't feel stunned and stopped by. You feel maybe overwhelmed by, or, embroiled by, or calm, right? Or serene. But like stopped, but staked.
Yeah.
And actually I love the just because I think we're both Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans. The idea of the stake being metal instead of wood in this case. It's the other way around. I think of a poor dryad, just the heartwood.
The heartwood.
And the last, reading, it was something very positive. I don't think that it's negative here, but I do think this is like when your breath catches, because it's your heart chakra. It's where your lungs are. This is when your breath catches. Something has spiked. Some emotion has intruded upon your peace and has caused you to to pause and feel something for a moment.
And in this context, we can shift and say that the reminder is that although you are feeling this sudden catch, over the course of time, there will be a healing process to look forward to. So although you might be caught right now, might be spike impaled right now, you will heal, you will grow, you will survive. It will be a painful process while you're walking through the fire. It burns. But once you get to the other side, you're going to feel much better, even if it's just the relief of the pain stopping, but it's part of the process. It is what it is. One of my least favorite turns of phrase in English, but what can you do? It is what it is.
Well, it exists. I think it's more accurate to say it exists. It doesn't have to be what it is. We can control what it is. Our interpretation of it, we can recontextualize, we can redo the metaphor. So it exists. The trauma exists, but we have the power to narrate it for ourselves.
And we can choose to grow towards poise.
Yes. Yes. So we have control over how we imbibe the shock, how we imbibe the spike. We can control how we respond to it, and we can re-narrate it. There's something very powerful in narrative therapy when it comes to trauma, being able to re-narrate the past. You can't change it. It exists, but you can retell it to yourself so that you're no longer, a helpless victim in the circumstance, that you are someone that with power, with the ability to respond to it. So I think I hear that. I think I hear there's this moment, this you've been caught, but it's not forever. It's a moment. Yet it will carry implications. You can't get away from that. There's
sure. It'll always
effects,
be there.
Ripples.
And in case you didn't hear episode 12, just a reminder, the image here is an arboglyph, and that's when you use metal to carve something into a tree, and it doesn't kill the tree, and it continues to grow, and the scars of those marks are left behind. It's the writing on a tree, arboglyphs. Sometimes people carve their initials on it because they're in love with somebody or they want to leave some message behind. And that's the idea here, is that you will be impacted. It will never go completely away. It will change you, but you still have the opportunity to thrive.
As you were talking about the arboglyphs, that struck me this time more than it did last time. I was thinking of hobos and the codes that they would leave behind.
They would paint them on walls or carve them into rocks and trees.
And, messaging to others. And it was such a communal thing because it was meant to help and guide. And you do it out of your own goodness because you discovered it maybe the hard way. Maybe you're the one that got beaten up and now you left a sign so that others don't get beaten up in your place.
Move on. Don't stop here.
Yeah. Yeah. I really am kind of fascinated by that arboglyph idea. You have the ability to let your scar, to let your glyph be a message to others.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, come on. Battle scars, man.
Battle scars.
They give you something interesting to talk about.
I mean, that's true. That's very true.
You can point to this one and be like, well, this is when she said this, and this is when he did that, and this is when I went hog wild. It gives you something to talk about.
My goodness. All right, well, we're going to pull from my deck here. I swear. So apparently this is going to be part 2. I just pulled the Sovereign of Flames.
What? No, what? You just did? Okay. All right. Sovereign of Flames.
Sovereign of Flames. This is the suit of wands in the tarot. And this would be the king, the patriarch. I obviously didn't want there to be gender, so I chose sovereign so that it wasn't, masculine coded like it usually is. But we have you are released from your shame.
So it's happened before that we've had one card show up again, maybe even within the same reading. This is the first time we've had not just one, but 2 cards come back. And let me look at my notes right quick. In episode 12 is the Sovereign of Flames, and then the 27 of 49 who just reversed the order.
We just reversed it, yep.
So We need to make sure that the context here isn't too far from what it was before, and yet the nuance has to change. So if we're moving forward with the idea that there's the potential for growth and healing, then part of that process is letting go of the shame that perhaps whatever has happened is not necessarily your fault, or it doesn't necessarily reflect poorly upon you. And if it does, you can learn from it. But a lot of times the shame is what's piled onto us or what we choose to pick up. It's not even necessarily well-deserved shame. It's an obstacle that we get in the habit of carrying around. Well, right here at the beginning of the reading, why don't we just have a reminder to put it down now before it becomes a habit?
Well, we're very much talking about something very different. Even though they're the same cards, this is very different. This is trauma that's just happened. It's just occurred for you, and you have the reminder from the haiku to not, to not, that's actually kind of ironic, to not allow this to shape you, but to shape it, so that the tree grows around it. The tree shapes its response. And then immediately this is not your shame. This is not your shame. It's not yours to hold.
No, it's the mark is made. Okay. You don't have to be, you can be marked by it without being recreated by it. You can be influenced by it, you can be affected by it, but it doesn't define you, and it doesn't cover your entire tree. You will grow.
It doesn't define you. You are not it. It does not have a you are saying. So shame is you are bad. You are evil. You are
unworthy.
There you go. You are sinful. Shame is saying something about you. Release that. This does not say something about you. Just right now, release that. Don't even let it settle in. Don't even grow the shame into your scar. Don't even let it touch.
Yeah, don't let it be part of your emotional habit. Just let it go now while you still can. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna do one more of mine.
We're off and running.
I'm trying to.
Well, shall we recycle another one from the last time?
Trying to maybe break the cycle there a little bit, so that we don't have a part 2 reading. Although I guess it's the danger of having these readings on the same day. The Three of Flames.
What? No.
We had it was the Three of Storms.
Okay, we did a Three of Storms.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we have a 3. So we have the Three of Flames. 3 beacons of flame guide your course.
Okay.
3 beacons of flame guide your course. So we have 2. We didn't talk about this. We have 2 solar plexus chakras right in a row. 1, 2. And we have the 2 and the 4. So we're right in the heart of our being right now. We're 2, 3, and 4. So we're on the lower part of the chakral spectrum. So we're dealing more with existence and reality and now, right? We haven't gotten to the higher spiritual levels. We're very much in our bodies at the moment. And the 3 beacons of flame guide your course. You have direction. You have 1, 2, 3. You can see a path. You have beginning, middle, and end. 1, 2, 3. You can move forward. You can move outward. You can continue forward. So, immediately on the heels of releasing your shame, take that power now and move. This is very directive.
You have options.
You have options.
You have lots of options.
Get out.
Something I'd like to say before I forget, you had mentioned that this is chakras 2, 3, and 4. Number 1 is the chakra of being, I am. And I would like to point out that as of now, it is not present. And its lack of presence can actually have some significance. Whatever this is that has happened to you is not you. This is an instance where the absence of a chakra might also have significance.
Mm-hmm. Also, there's no higher chakras yet, so it doesn't have a spiritual significance either. This is very much you're existing in the moment, and in this moment.
You just use the word immediacy, and this is fresh after the pain, fresh after the trauma. Don't pick it up as shame. It's not your guilt. You've got options. Move forward here. Don't get stuck in it.
It's all happening right now, and that's okay. It will settle. Things will settle, but don't follow the wrong course right now. Follow the good course. Follow the healthy course.
Mm-hmm. And even if you want to be literal, just in case, this is a moment of overwhelm, look at 3 specific options. Okay. Option 1, option 2, option 3. Are any of those good? Okay. How about this option 1, this option 2, option 3? Break it down to chunks, something that's manageable. Because if you're overwhelmed by emotion right now and not really in a place to process a lot of new information and choices, then keep it simple. Here are 3 flames. 1, 2, 3. Do any of these seem like they might help?
This also can mean baby steps. So just building on what you said there with break it down. If you're in the middle of trauma, if you're in the middle of grief, in the middle of separation, break it down. One little step at a time. 1, 2, 3. Just do 3 steps. Just 1, 2, 3. Put them in a row. And then once you're done those, 1, 2, 3 more. You can do it. Mm-hmm. Just baby steps, little steps. Keep it simple, like you said. Break it down.
Break it down.
I'm feeling your decks. I want to expand our scope here a little bit.
All right. Okay. All right. Deck number 4. We're staying with the haiku. And $24. So let me grab the deck. A little bit down from where we started, but still right in the middle. 24. Okay, so we still are in the heart chakra.
All right.
Green wood. And how is it influenced by the third eye? Blue, water. So how I love is influenced by I see, the way in which your connections and relationships are influenced by what you learn, what you perceive, how you understand what's happening. And that's important coming out of what we were just talking about, because the way you understand what has happened is going to influence the way you process this recovery. And there's wood here in this card as well. You do not have to do this alone. Mm-hmm. Okay. Be careful. It's a reminder, be careful whose help you seek, because the way you connect to them is going to be influenced by what they share with you, what knowledge or what skill or what information they provide. Keep the broader context. You don't have to do this by yourself. Be careful about what you absorb. And the haiku for this is: Eden's tree imbibes insight. Roots grasp truth's vision, slaking heartened thirst. Eden's tree imbibes insight. Roots grasp truth's vision, slaking heartened thirst. So, especially when we are in pain or confusion or need, we are very eager to absorb help from other people. And most of the time, people are going to have absolutely fantastic intentions. Just be aware of whether or not what they're sharing with you is actually true. If you are really seeking insight and grasping, really drinking deeply from what somebody is telling you, be careful how it assuages your thirst, your need for healing. Just be aware of who is helping you and which people you turn to for comfort.
Going back to the imagery, I think that there's an interesting bit of thing that we haven't really talked about, because we came up with the third eye as the truth, the I see portion of this. I think as much as what you said is true, there's also an internal source to this. So there's water already, you're, like you said, but it's, I think for me in this case, it's internal water, and you see through what is happening. you see the truth. So I think this is a very strong reminder that you already know what's true. You already understand it. You don't need to be told by others. So like where you're saying be cautious, I might say you don't need them. You don't need that right now. I go back to, people that try to offer condolences and, they're in a better place, or, they're,
It's meant to be.
it's meant to be, you'll see them again. These are unhelpful. These are
not
deeply
at all.
unhelpful. They're meant to make the speaker feel better, but they do not have much effect on the person in grief. And if you've had trauma of different kinds, and unfortunately there are many different kinds of trauma, then platitudes are unhelpful to you when you're experiencing that, when you're dealing with a post-traumatic response. It's deeply unhelpful for people to say, oh, calm down. Oh, just breathe. Even though that's what you need.
Not only not helpful, it can be, diminishing or erasing. It can just shut you down from even going through your process at all.
You don't necessarily need from the outside. So be careful, but realize that you see the third eye, you see your path. You've got your 3 beacons. You see your path. You see through that which is dark, that which is, unknown knowledge. You see through those things from a spiritual sense. You have a higher vision. You have a higher insight than you realize. Use it.
Trust yourself.
Trust yourself. Yeah. The card that I associate with this is the sun. Is really kind of the ultimate expression of the third eye in my deck, the tarot. I call it a joyfulness, but it's the idea of cracking through everything and seeing the truth and how it brings joy, even if it's joy in knowing that something is wrong or bad or inappropriate. Being able to see the truth of the matter is what brings you joy, not that you experience joy because of the matter.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm going to pull one more from my deck. Okay, we're going near the end. There we go. It is the 9 of Flames. Wow, we're just sticking with flames here.
Do you shuffle your deck when you say you're going to the end or whatever? So your cards are shuffled like you would a standard deck of cards, correct?
Sort of. I don't riffle shuffle them because when I'm selecting the cards, I'm selecting them based on energies that I feel. So I kind of shuffle through the deck with my eyes closed, and sort of feel where the tingle happens.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it in my third eye. I feel a tinkle when I get to the right card. So I'll cut the deck a few times just to kind of get the order shuffled around. But I don't like riffle shuffle them. So it's not quite a random thing, but I'm also not like dealing off the top or something like that. So it doesn't necessarily need to be randomized because I'm just feeling, for that energy. So in some ways I am choosing the card, but I'm trying to do it from maybe an insightful or channeled perspective.
Well, and then making sure that pulling from the end doesn't always get these types of cards, and pulling from over here doesn't get always these types of cards.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
So they're shuffled.
I was just wondering how you can be in one part of the deck and it's flames and go somewhere else and it's still flames. So that's why I asked.
Gotcha. Yeah. No. So they're shuffled up, but they're not in a specific order, like where you kind of keep yours in order. You use the randomness of the dice. I sort of use intuition.
Gotcha.
I think it makes an interesting kind of juxtaposition between us.
Very different way of choosing.
Yeah. So what was chosen was the 9 of Flames. Those who work with fire will get burned.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah. Okay. So you go into a situation understanding that it has its parameters and its realities. And so be careful not to be surprised when something that is definitely present suddenly makes itself known.
You are going to get burned. I think that's the message of this card, is you're going to get burned. You can't not, when you're dealing with the fire of humanity, the fire of creatures. It's like having a cat. You're going to get scratched.
Mm-hmm. It's just living.
But it doesn't stop you from working with it. It doesn't stop you from being human, from working within the world. So this is a strong reminder that it's not your fault. We're not assigning blame, but we're just reminding you that this is natural. This happens. This is part of living. The Buddhist would say it's part of the circle, the wheel of pain that we experience because we are human, because we exist. We are trapped on this wheel. We're trapped on this circle. And it is only through freeing ourselves from it that we can escape pain.
So in this instance, playing with fire is being alive.
Yes.
And ergo, you're going to get burned.
Exactly. Yeah. There's you can take this other ways. You can take this as a reminder of your creativity, and working with it that even with the best creativity, you're going to flame out, you're going to burn out, you're going to have moments of dry spells. It's going to hurt. You're going to revisit trauma, and it's going to hurt. When you do your art, you're gonna have the emotions come back up again. So there's many ways of looking at this, but I think in this particular moment, it's just saying you are alive, you are human, and you are alive. And pain, being burned, is part of that experience. So this trauma, this thing that caught you, that caught you at your core, at your heart chakra, the very center of your being, it's natural. It's not good. It's not bad. It's natural. The fire has no will. The fire doesn't care. The fire has no understanding. It's simply energy burning.
So going back to the beginning and capping it all together, this is broadly a reminder that when we encounter trauma, work with me here. When we encounter trauma, it is not necessarily our fault. It's part of being alive. We have the choice of the way in which we are formed or reformed by this pain, but we do have opportunities to take small steps, take small bites towards healing. And it isn't your fault. It isn't good or bad. It's an opportunity to learn and grow.
And at the core of it, we can't forget, is the release of shame.
Yes. And to do any of that, you have to release shame.
You can't let it settle, because it will collapse you. It will contort you. It will bring you down. It will quench your fire, and it will leave you in the dark.
As a personal trainer, what you just said reminds me of the situation where as you put on body fat, it comes on in different, we'll call it layers or batches. What you put on first comes off first. What you put on first comes off last. Right. What you put on most recently comes off first. Thinking of it in that way, if you grab onto this shame and hold on to it, it's going to be harder and harder to put it down. It becomes part of your emotional metabolism, as it were. Mm-hmm. Be aware of the way in which this quote unquote thermostat, somehow it's one of the images we use in talking to clients about managing body weight. If you hold on to body fat long enough, your body will no longer be able to let go of it, because chemically and hormonally, that body fat becomes part of your metabolism, your new reset point for this thermostat. Similarly, if you pick up shame and you hold on to it long enough, it's going to be harder and harder and harder to put it down. Grasp it as little as you can. Don't get used to holding it. Because if you think of it as a weight, if you want to go back to personal training, you will get stronger and stronger and stronger. And you'll be able to hold more and more and more of this heavy weight of shame. And you'll keep getting stronger, but it won't make you happier. It won't make you better. It won't make you healthier. It'll just make you stronger. And eventually it will crush you.
I'm getting the image of plate armor. When you talk about, more and more weight, I'm getting the image of plate armor and just heaping more and more upon you until you are an iron golem, with no light left, no creativity left. You're simply, your entire being is to move this weight of shame around, and you've become a creature, no longer human.
Yeah, and that's not a life. Well, it's a life, but it's not really living.
No. And I think to cap it off, that's exactly where we're at right now. Living, power, the energy of life. You need it to keep going, and you are right now in a place where it might feel like it's time to stop, where it's time to snuff out your light. And that's not the case. This is a very strong reminder that you are to keep going, to move forward, to release yourself from the shame, to feel what you feel, but not to let it become who you are. And we didn't end up with the root chakra, so we don't have a strong groundedness, and that's okay. Sometimes you can't find that. Sometimes it just doesn't there for you. Yeah,
and also from its lack of presence, we don't let it seep into our being in the first place.
Does not become who you are.
It does not become who you are. And just a reminder where we started, that first haiku has the finishing line, wounds, scars, bark, time, poise. You'll get there.
Time. This time hits me stronger. This is all right now. This is all right now. Like, pause. Just pause. This is all right now. Right now is not forever. Be here. Be now. Take it step by step. Don't pick up the shame. Don't let it seep in. Don't let it quench your fire. You have the energy. You do. It's within you. It's already there. Just tap into it and realize that you're working with fire. You're working with living people. They're going to lash out. It happens. It absolutely happens. So we have a members only version of the podcast that's available on Apple Podcasts. You can subscribe there, and you get to hear how the reading impacts Jack and I personally, what we kind of our takeaway points are from it. So not just our interpretations of it, but how we might be affected by it ourselves. So that's available through Apple Podcasts. You can get a members only feed there and get to hear a little bit more of the episode. We previewed that in the first 10 episodes. So if you're curious what that segment feels like or what kind of content is there, you can listen to the first 10 episodes, and we gave a preview of that section. But now it's for members only. So those who wish to support the podcast get a little extra, and we're very excited and happy for you to be supporters of us.
We did a lot of work on these beautiful decks of cards, and if you would like to see them, you can go over to YouTube and watch these readings as well. We're at Show Your Deck over on YouTube, and you can see how beautiful these readings are on the screen.
Yes, you can. Our books and our decks are available at showyourdeck.com. That's our little central hub for the podcast. You can go ahead and pop over there, take a look at things. We've got some videos. We've got some pictures, and the books are available. My book is available on Amazon, Kindle Unlimited. So if you'd like to pop over there and read that, you can. And of course, you want to get Jack's book from Jack so that you can get it signed. You can get it in the proper size. Everything's beautiful and wonderful about it.
And you can find all my stuff at 49 Haiku. So the number 4, the number 9, HAIku. You. So
HAIQ.
HAIQ. So 49haiku.com, or on Instagram, you can go to @49haiku.
I am at Dean Sage Media, where you can find me, mainly Instagram, a little bit on Threads. The show is on Instagram at Your Deck. That's at Your Deck on Instagram. That's kind of our only social media for the show. And we'll say toodaloos.